Hey guys, welcome back. I'm back in my office at my house, and I got my friend Jim here today. Now, Jim is the director of ShareTradingEducation.com. He's a licensed trading advisor. He's also an author of Share to Buy and When. And Jim, I believe it's one of the top 5 business books for the year in 2010.
It was one of the bookshops that had that label on it. Yes.
Fantastic. Now, guys, Jim Berg is also a presenter at ASX Australia Stock Exchange, right? He's the co-author of the most sought-after newsletter out in the country today, and trading, and actually what to do in, out, and we'll talk some more about this, because I am actually catching up with Jim, because when we first met, he says, Jules, this is what I see, this is my system, this is the analysis, this is how I play. I got so fascinated by the conversation that I said, mate, would you come to my house, sit with me, and film see what happens, you know? So I really am stoked that you have come. Let me keep going with the intro here. The man is a presenter at the ASX, Australian Stock Exchange, the Australian Technical Analyst Association, and the Australian Investors Association, and the Australian Shareholders Association. So these are some serious bodies of people that want to know about trading, that are in the game of life itself when we talk about in and out of the market, trading shares, etc. So, Jim is one of the top end educators in that environment, helping others to actually become successful in what they do. So once again, Jim, thank you so much for coming in and hanging out with us today. Can you tell me a little bit about how come you are so passionate about share trading?
Thank you, Julie, for having me here today. I love the being able to trade my superannuation account and control my funds and have the control over my own money in my trading account.
All right. So that's how you got it. That's how you got into it, was it?
Yeah, I originally was a school teacher, and then I was a broker for 18 years. So I got there were some strategies that I put together at the time while I was as a broker for 18 years.
All right, so let's expand on this a bit. Can you give me like a broader background about how you got involved, and you know, what led you to be such an expert?
Well, I don't know about being an expert. What I have is 30 years experience in trading the markets. I have a
So how many years experience? Sorry, I missed that.
30 years trading.
30 years. Wow.
I have a very successful trading strategy that I keep getting invited to different top organizations around the world to present my trading style to these organizations.
So they like you. They keep asking you back.
And it's a great opportunity, and it's an honor to be able to help people learn how to trade.
Right. I love that. I love the reality where one doesn't see himself as an expert, and yet he gets cast back again and again and again by the top associations, the top people, you know, wanting to know the information. I love that as a concept. Let me ask you this. Can you also tell me, Dan, so you started as a teacher, is that right?
Correct.
Then you were looking at your self-made super fund, you thought, I can do better than my manager as a concept. Is that?
It was not very difficult to do better, that's for sure. We've seen that over the last several years, because when there are falling markets, it's obviously super funds don't perform very well.
Right. Could you just talk briefly about why is that the case? So when you just said it, when it is a down market, super funds don't perform really well. Can you give us a little bit of insight on what you see? Why is that the case?
Well, there's a number of reasons. One of them is that they're basically fundamental analysts, and they don't believe that you can time the market. Therefore, they believe that when the markets go down, there's going to be pain, and everybody has to wear the pain.
Right.
And that's not. Obviously, I don't believe that's true. I believe that there are times when you should be in the market and times when you should be out of the market.
Wow.
And I teach those times, and I've done the studies. I've gone back to 22 years and actually looked at some indicators to help me determine when the time is to be in cash and when the time to be in your super.
Jim, this is beautiful. So basically, the conversation is, it's very traditional for financial planners and people in investment game to say to people, oh, you got to stay in the markets up and down, and you know you got to ride it out, you know, when everybody, and sometimes it may take years for people to recover. And what you're actually saying is, hey baby, it's gonna go tough, get out.
That's exactly right. There are times that you should not be in there, you should be in cash. And we're in one of those times right now. This last signal that I got was in July of last year.
Guys, this is what the beautiful part about hanging out with people that do this for a living, because you see, this is a conversation, and I love conversations that people don't have naturally or every day. This is a conversation that doesn't occur to people. Most people are, as I call it, hypnotized to stay in the market. Doesn't matter what happens, just stay in there, you know, and endure the pain. I love this chat. So let me just jump in then to another question like this. What would be the top 3, right, key points that somebody should know in order to be successful, right, in what you teach?
The easiest way to learn to trade is to find a mentor, someone who's going to teach you what they do step by step, so that you can see what companies are actually chosen, when to actually enter, and when to actually exit those.
Okay.
Second is that you have a plan. If you don't have a plan, you're planning to fail. So what we have is a plan, a disciplined trading plan that has a set of rules, and we simply follow those rules. And that's the third point, is you have to have the discipline once you have the plan to follow the rules of the plan.
Right. Have the mentor, have the system, in the system, follow the rules.
Follow the rules.
Got it. And one of the things, guys, and again, you know, like wealth is communication, communication is language. So if you don't have the language to talk about getting ahead in life, it just doesn't happen. So once again, I tell you, it's a privilege indeed to have Jim, because we get to have these conversations that never happen. So listen for it just for a second, okay? Have a mentor. Somebody's been there, done it. In and out, taught others, you know, continuously sharpening the sword, right? That's what Jim is. He's one of the best, right? The other conversation here is, what are the rules of the game? What's the system? So there is a system in which you get the mentor, then you get the platform. The platform operates inside of the system. So when Jim comes together and puts some communication about what's what and how we go about this, listen for the words, the mentor, the system, the rules. You learn the system, you run the rules, your chance of success just keeps increasing, keeping increasing, and away we go. So let me ask you another way. What's the best way to get started?
The best way to get started is to find that mentor. Get that person who's had the experience, who's going to show you their system. And this is what I do.
Yes.
And I know that you mentioned earlier, you called me an expert, but I don't actually tell people how to trade. What I do is show them exactly what I do. And from that, they learn, and they learn that if you have a set of rules and you follow those rules, you have the chance to be successful. What we don't want to do is trade what we think or what we feel, because you have emotions involved. You have your fear and your greed and your denial and revenge trading. You know, you hate the company so much you want to get your money back. So we don't want to have emotion get involved with our decisions. We want to have a set of rules and follow the rules.
So emotions, anyways, are your enemy, right?
No, yeah, you don't want to trade what you think.
You hear that? That's very important. How many of us are able to be emotionally detached, follow the mentor's concept? And I like the fact that you're saying, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm giving you the system. The analogy that comes in my head is surfing. Like I got some surfing lessons, and the guy brought the board, and the waves were not his or mine. It was just there. So that perhaps is the system, right? He showed me a bunch of things, and then I had to get up and do it. And then eventually I bought my own board, and now I go out and trade. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But you know what happens? Now and again, I still meet my mentor in surfing. He gives me some real pointers. They go, hey, that one is a left turner. This one's a right turner. This is how you get up. And we have this continuous relationship. And I could say to you, I'm not a very good one, but I am a surfer now.
Well, right? That's a good analogy, though, too, because you were saying that you learn as you go on, you're going to never stop learning. And that's one of the beauties of what we do with the trading. You never stop learning.
And then again, we can take this to the next step, because this guy now has been telling me, dude, you got to learn to kite surf. Let me show you. So that's what the beauty about having a mentor is all about, because he keeps stretching you and taking you to the next level. So keeping with the analogy, Jim, how much experience does a person need to start share trading?
You don't need any experience at all. You can start from scratch. We take people who are been trading for quite a while and aren't successful, or want to change their strategy and or know that their strategy isn't working for them.
Yeah.
So they might have an awful lot of knowledge about the markets and economics, but they're just not putting the runs on the board. So we can take a person who knows absolutely nothing about it,
Wow.
or we can help someone that actually isn't doing very well in the market.
Oh, wow. I bet that you watching this right now, the majority of you are thinking that you would have to have some prior experience and know some stuff about that. Isn't that good that Jim himself, who is a guy who does this for a living, is telling who's watching, hey, listen, if you are, what you need is interest. If you are interested, if you are curious about it, that's what you need. This is what I'm hearing. If somebody's interested in share trading, wants to learn, have the mentor, learn the system, okay, apply the rules.
And,
right?
and the ones that you're talking about who really want to learn, who have a passion for it,
yes.
and also treat it as a hobby,
yes,
they're the ones who end up being the most successful.
Yes.
Because they care so much about it, and because they also know that it's something that they can learn for the rest of their life.
Beautiful. Hey guys, all of you that have an interest in share trading, right, enough of too much information and who's who in a zoo, what's good. Here's a guy who's been invited again and again by the best platforms in Australia, right, or the top platforms in Australia, to teach them what to do. So let me ask you this: how long does it take to get the knowledge to be trading successfully?
If a person is really interested in learning to trade, they can learn in a couple of months. It doesn't take very long.
In a couple of months?
In a couple of months. It's a pretty fast process. It takes a little bit of time. Obviously, there's a learning curve. Once you learn how to, I'll give you an example, is that in my long-term conservative investment trading in my super fund, it actually takes me 20 minutes to run my fund because I use longer-term charts and I only need to look at my portfolio once a week.
Okay, cool. Will your methods or advice work for anyone, or is there a best person is suited to?
Look, we're dealing with people in our company and the education from all walks of life, but really they're just normal people who want to have more control over their super fund. They want to have maybe a trading account that they can trade a little bit more active in, and also something that they can be involved in for the rest of their life.
Yes, I really appreciate an earlier conversation we're having today before filming, where you're explaining that some people that come to your events, they bring the teenage kids. And the teenage kids, and I remember a comment that John made saying, oh, it's fantastic, I wish my parents had done that for me. So I hear when we ask the question, you know, is this suited for anyone? A child can come in, and a 16-year-old, 17, 18, would have already brain matter enough to start gathering what's going on, right?
Right.
And picking up and even play with it to be able to say,
Exactly right.
yeah.
Never too young, never too old to learn.
Beautiful.
One of the questions I'm often asked is that people come to me and they want to trade when they retire.
Yes.
My whole system is designed for people who have real jobs.
Yes.
Who come home in the evening, they they do their little bit of work in the evening,
yes.
and they trade the following day. You don't need to be retired. People can add income.
Wow, how much possibility that opens. That is incredible. Because, again, people see, guys, for some of you that are watching now, I am sure you're listening to this and possibilities are opening for you right now because you've been thinking, oh, this is hard, I will never know. Bang, suddenly there is a system, it's performed, it's been going on for a while. The guy teaches Australia-wide. You know, as a matter of fact, Jim, would you come and present to the crew at JDL, to our friends Australia-wide? Would you do that for us?
I'll do that for sure.
Is that right?
Yeah. I'll be there.
And this is what I call about having good friends in good places. I really appreciate that. So guys, watch this space because I'm now going to talk to Anthony and say, Anthony, Jim is coming, you know,
I'll be there.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Like, let me ask you something else then. Let me just complete that thought process for me. If you guys are watching this now and wondering, oh, share trading, I always had an interest, tomorrow I'll do it, what's somebody else, and away we go, right? What can we do? Like, guys, get exposed to the conversation right now. JDL is committed to conversations we never had before. As you know, it's all about lifting the financial intelligence of this country, and I really thank you for making yourself available. I know you're a wanted man, and people wanted you to present it all the time, and looking forward to doing something like that. Let me go back now to the interview and ask you, if you had one secret, right? you know, a point of, you know, like, follow this. This is the pointer. What would that be?
I really don't like the word secret. Okay.
Okay.
And that's it's a good question, but we don't have secrets. There's nothing that we keep back that we keep back from people when we're doing our education. We teach everything. But what people need to have is a plan. If you don't have a plan, you're planning to fail.
Yeah.
And the problem is, where do you start in order to develop that plan? Where do you get your rules? And that's where finding the mentor is. That's where I come in, because I have the rules and I can show you those rules, and you'll change those rules. We're not suggesting that this is the right way to trade. We're saying this obviously is the right way to trade for me because I've been doing it for a long time and it's successful. So we present those rules, and then people need to take those rules. They'll start with those rules, and then make sure that they create their own trading plan.
So if I know you don't like the word secret, but if I will stay with it for a second, the secret is learn the rules, baby.
Have a plan.
Have a plan, run the rules, stick with the rules.
Yep.
It's not much of a secret, is it, really?
It's not.
You know, run the rules, I stick with the rules.
And follow the plan.
That's what happens sometimes, is people that know the rules, they're not willing to share the rules of actually making it successful, because I want to keep it all to me, you know, for myself. And what are some of the most common problems, right, that people experience in trading and investing in the stock market?
Well, the first one is yourself. People often are their own worst enemy. A lot of the traders we have interviewed and talked to over the years, they end up shooting themselves in the foot and actually doing more damage to their account than any other factor. And it's because, you know, human beings often aren't geared toward trading. You know, if we go back to that fight or flight attitude, that people, you know, that fear or greed come into it. And it actually interferes often in people's trading. What we have is tools. Human beings were given the ability to use these tools. And what we have is tools like fundamental analysis and technical analysis and mathematical formulas, indicators. And these tools bunched together in what we call weight of evidence give us an edge for trading.
You know what I learned once I heard this, that people when they hear about trading and rules and trading, people sometimes think, oh, it's too complex, too difficult. But I heard this once, that if you can drive the amount of brain engagement to be able to drive a vehicle, to actually be aware of how to change gears, press the brake, watch the lights, watch the other cars, is 6 times more what's actually needed, right, to pay attention or learn or whatever the complexity of any mathematical formula is. When I learned that, I thought, oh my God, so it's because I told myself that driving is straightforward, simple, so I go do that. But if I tell myself that trading is hard, then it becomes true, because I'm not even going to give it the attention necessary to learn. So putting these two together, what I want to say to you guys is this: if for a second you think that this is too complex or outside of your scope, all I want to say to you is that it ain't. I've been looking at the DVD, I've been looking at the things that Jim teach people, and I want to say to you, it's very exciting. It really, really is. There's no other words, but the opening of possibilities is fantastic.